Okay, today I'm going to talk to you about control of blood glucose. Now this is an example of homeostasis. Now what that means is just trying to keep all of the different levels in the body just right. Because if anything goes out of sync, gets too high or too low, it can cause big problems. Also, it's important to know that glucose is a type of sugar. So let's have a look at this example here. Now let's say I've got this person here, and for their lunch they are eating a chocolate bar. So here is their chocolate bar right here. Now this chocolate bar's got loads of glucose in. As remember, glucose is a type of sugar. So, and I'm just going to draw some of the pathway of that sugar. So this is just showing a little part of their blood vessels that go between two different organs. Between this little organ here called the pancreas and this organ, much bigger organ over here, called the liver. Okay, so this person has eaten loads of glucose. I'm going to show glucose in the blood in green to show that we've got glucose, okay? So, too much glucose in the blood can be dangerous. We don't want too much glucose in the blood. So what happens is the pancreas releases this hormone called insulin. Now insulin is a hormone, a chemical messenger. It travels in the blood. Now what insulin does is remember the whole point is it wants to decrease the level of glucose in the blood because at the moment it's too high. So what insulin does is it travels in the blood along with this glucose, and when it gets to the liver, what it does is the insulin allows this glucose to be taken out of the blood and stored in liver and muscles. So it actually creates this branch structure here called glycogen. So by taking this glucose out of the blood and storing it in liver and muscles in the form of glycogen, we've now lowered the glucose in the blood. That's a good thing. Okay, so we'll see the counter effect. Let's imagine this person here instead. They haven't had any lunch, okay? So, instead, this person here, let's have a quick think about what's going on in their blood. So again, we're just worried about a little part of their blood, we're just focusing on a little bit of their blood, rather, between the pancreas and the liver, again. Now this person hasn't had any food at all. So the level of glucose in their blood is really, really low. That's bad too. We don't want, remember homeostasis is keeping the conditions just right. So we don't want the glucose levels getting too high, but we definitely don't want them getting too low either. So this time, instead of releasing insulin, the pancreas releases something else. It releases a hormone called glucagon. Now the way of remembering glucagon is this gets released when all the glucose is gone. Glucagon. Now the glucagon, it travels, because it's a hormone, it's a chemical messenger that travels in the blood. It travels in the blood until it gets to the liver. Remember, the whole point this time, what we want to happen is glucagon increases the amount of glucose in the blood. So when glucagon gets to the liver, what it does is it gets this branch structure. Remember, the branch structure is called glycogen, and it breaks it down back into glucose. Okay, now the tricky thing about this topic is remembering the difference between glucose, glycogen, and glucagon, because they've all got similar names. So remember that glucose, that's the sugar. That's the thing we're trying to control. The nice way to remember glucagon is this is the hormone released when glucose is gone. So a quick recap apart from that. If the glucose levels get too high in the blood, the pancreas releases insulin, which removes glucose from the blood and stores it as glycogen, which is this branch structure here. And if the glucose levels get too low in the blood, The pancreas releases glucagon because all the glucose has gone. This travels in the blood and it causes the glycogen to break down and re-enter the blood as glucose. That is how we control blood glucose. Thank you.